Hi, I'm Ian King. I've been a first call bass player in London's West End for 15 years. And in this learning pathway for SBL, I'm going to take you on a funk bass playing journey, looking at the history, the rhythms, the players, and of course, the bass lines. Together, we'll look at the styles and techniques of some of the most famous funk bass players around, from Larry Graham and Francis Rocco Prestia, to Stuart Zender and Joe Dart, and so many more in between. Throughout this pathway, we'll be delving into important topics that you need to know, like harmony, vocabulary, and technique. But maybe most importantly of all, we'll be working on your knowledge and understanding of rhythms, subdivisions, and syncopation. Having a solid grounding in rhythm will really set you up playing funk music. So this learning pathway will have a heavy emphasis on that. We'll also look at how to get a great funk tone on your bass, as well as working on the technique side of things so your bass lines sound killer. We'll also look at how to properly construct and embellish a bass line of your own in this style. And the best part is, you'll be learning all of these techniques, grooves and other skills by playing along to some great play-along tracks that I produce for you. You see, this learning pathway is song-based, where most of the lessons have a play-along track to work on. And this is fantastic because you can practice tunes that are heavily inspired by the original classics, and you'll get to jam along to some of the best musicians around. By taking these courses and practicing the song assignments that were made specifically for this program, you'll not only deepen your knowledge of funk music, but you'll also come out a better all-round bass player and musician as well. So, are you a bass player who loves the music of James Brown, Parliament Funkadelic, and Sly and the Family Stone? Or maybe you're into Jamiroquai or Prince? Or maybe you're into more modern stuff like Lettuce, Corey Henry and Wolfpack. If so, this learning pathway is definitely for you. Come on this journey with me and learn from the ground up how to be a better funk bass player. SBL? Hello, welcome to SBL with me, Ian King. I'm really excited to take you through this soul and R&B learning pathway. We'll be looking at music from the late 1950s right through to the present day. Now this subject is really close to my heart, as my entire record collection seems to be artists in this genre. I grew up listening to my parents' record collection, and my mum in particular introduced me to the likes of Stevie Wonder, Randy Crawford, Aretha Franklin, Ray Charles, Lionel Richie, Michael Jackson, and so many more. I wouldn't be surprised if it's what sparked my love for the bass, as the bass guitar plays such an important role in this style of music. In a lot of soul tunes, the bass line provides the hook, as well as making the whole thing groove. It's basically the most important instrument in the band. Not to mention the coolest one, but you already knew that. So what will you be learning in this first course? Well, we're going to learn what we mean by soul music by looking into its roots in traditional gospel music and rhythm and blues. We'll have a look at some basic gospel and R&B bass lines, and I'll be setting you a few assignments to get you thinking about what you're playing when you're playing. To kick things off, we're going to look at a few approaches to simple gospel bass lines from the late 1950s and into the 60s. We'll look at the two-feel as well as walking lines and have a look at the basic vocabulary that you'll need to play in this style. So we're talking roots and fifths and octaves and triads. Then we'll be looking at early R&B bass lines. To start with, we'll look at some straightforward syncopation that you might have heard on songs like Stand By Me by Benny King. Then we'll move on to some 12-bar blues progressions at different speeds to get you working on your straight eights. For this segment, we'll add a bit more vocabulary with the major and minor pentatonic scales and the major and minor blues scales. And lastly, we'll be looking at the shuffle feel, or what we call swung quavers or swung eights. This is an important part of this first course, as so much soul and R&B music has a swung feel or an implied swung feel to it. We'll be breaking it down and making sure you can truly shuffle with the best of them before we move on to the next course. Don't forget that there are some really useful supporting workbooks that come with these courses. There are the backing tracks as well as PDF charts to guide you along. So don't forget to dig them out whenever you're working through these videos. By the end of this course, you'll have a grounding in early gospel and R&B bass lines. You'll know exactly what we mean by straight or shuffle feel, and you'll have a good chunk of the vocab that you'll need to start making up your own bass lines. Which reminds me, there'll be a few assignments too, but more of them later. For now, let's kick off the course.